We now come to the third pillar of 7 pillars in this short journey through the Bible. It's really about different stories that are contained in the Bible, and I'm hopeful that you sharing these thoughts with me, together we might find some kind of inspiration for our Christian life. This very pillar is based on the well-known Sermon on the Mount, which was given by Jesus himself. It's contained in Matthew's Gospel 5, 6 and 7. And I make particular reference after the 9 statements of the Beatitudes to draw your attention to the 13th verse of chapter 5, where Jesus says, "Ye are the salt of the earth." Now these are staggering words, and we must bear in mind that they're given by the Master himself, Jesus. Just let me remind you at this stage that when he was on the cross, you were on his mind. When we come to analyse this text before us, we shall find that it offers 3 simple questions: who, what, and where. Jesus says in the first phrase, "Ye are," or in modern language, "you are." And the question arises, who? Who are you? And I'm suggesting some simple answers to these questions, each of them beginning with the same initial letter to make it all that much easier. The first answer to the question who is the saints. Now the word saint is a very important word, for it's recorded over the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament together. It occurs many times. Now I'm aware that there are different meanings to this word by different faiths. But I want to stick to what the Western theology, and in particular evangelicals, claim as the meaning of the word saint. And the simple meaning of the word saint is this: a disciple of Jesus Christ or a follower of Jesus Christ. Now you remember I started off by talking about this text coming from the Sermon on the Mount. That wee word mount is important, for the scene before us is of Jesus Christ standing on a hillside, and around him his disciples and his followers. If we believe in Jesus Christ, then we become a disciple of his. We become a follower. He is the leader whom we are following. And now if we get down to the nitty-gritty, what do we mean, or what do I mean by the word saint? I base my meaning on the word saint from the Bible. And what it means is this: it is someone who's holy and a godly person, by profession, by covenant, and by conversation. These are the people who will indeed partake of everlasting glory and blessedness. In other words, a saint is someone who is in union with Christ, the head. I have no hesitation in answering this question who by claiming this word saint. Moving on, the second phrase we have is the phrase the salt. Remember, ye are the salt. And the question arising here is the question, what? What are we? And the answer I would suggest to you is the substance. A follower of Jesus Christ without substance is like a ship without an anchor, or a cloud without water. Salt speaks to us symbolically of purity, even in its very colour, white. In the Holy Land, a mother would take her baby and bathe him in salt. This was a cleansing ritual. It was for preservation and it was for purification. And it was a ritual faithfully performed as a ceremonial duty. What Jesus is really teaching is, what about your lifestyle? What about the content of your speech? These should be pure and holy and undefiled. How we as Christians live is vitally important. Saint Francis of Assisi was a man keen on ecology, nature, the birds and the plants and trees. Indeed, he was thought of as being mad because he appeared to be talking to the birds, when in fact he was in meditation and prayer. He said, we must preach Christ at all times, occasionally using words. Sadly, what I see around me these days, wherever I go, are ghosts of people who at one time were pillars in the church. People who have lost their flavour, their commitment, their first love to Jesus Christ. There are many answers to this problem. One of them that sticks out to me is the one of deception. And in the spiritual warfare, deception is a force to be reckoned with. Yes, there are many who profess to be Christians and they have the form. But far too many have the form bereft of force. Let me illustrate that to you like this. I have here an egg, and you can see by the shape of the egg its form. But if I do that with the egg, where's the force? This was an egg that pierced in either end and blew the force out, the content. Jesus is looking for the content as well. And there's a warning here, because the salt that has lost its flavour is worthless, to be trodden underfoot.